Seoul Dynasty. This is quite the rumor. This is quite the craziness that we were promised from all the insiders talking about how juicy the offseason was going to be. And this one is probably the juiciest to ever happen. Profit and Gesture leaving the London Spitfire and going to Seoul is probably the biggest signing in Overwatch history, bar none, period. And I think that's probably going to be very difficult to top going forward, even the next 5 years. This is a very talented main tank, and I want to clarify, incredibly talented. I don't understand where the narrative that Gesture was bad and he never was that good comes from, seeing how he helped win a title with his Orisa. His Reinhardt, I have to omit there. Reinhardt, not great. Not a fantastic Reinhardt. His Winston, though, fantastic, beautiful, wonderful. And even showing a Sigma in the playoffs. This guy is very, very good. I don't understand where this narrative has come from that Gesture is somehow washed up and bad when he's part of the best duo in the world with the best player in the world in Profit, who also is joining him on the Seoul Dynasty now. Kevin, this is insane. This is ridiculous when you look at how big the Seoul Dynasty's roster is already. There have been, I believe that their support staff, their support lineup, has definitely filed for free agency, it looks like. I think Zunba's out as well. And now that they're getting Profit and Gesture, what other kind of crazy signings? Are they going to go for like Mecco? Like what else? Like this is kind of shaping up to be a super team. What does this mean for Seoul? Well, I've been very public in my criticism of the team these last 2 years, talking about how I don't think they've ever had a strong tank DPS duo. This is even going back to when Gesture and Profit really kind of made their name as a Winston Tracer duo. Seoul and Lunatic High, for that matter, really never had a strong duo in that sense. If it was always one season you get a new tank, or one season you get a new DPS. Their tank and DPS never got time to synergize and really gel to create those very effective dives, or even, for that matter, create effective, team play. Things have always been very, very fickle in Seoul Dynasty, whether you're going back to look at Fissure or Miro. Things have never remained the same for Seoul, and this gives you a great foundation to build from going into 2020, which again is going to be huge for Seoul. There's so many players. I guess I can't stress this enough. I think there's a very strong sentiment among Korean players, from my understanding, that they want to play for their home country and they want to represent Korea with the only Korean team. So that's definitely a selling point to a lot of players, and that could have been the selling point for Gesture and Profit. I don't think that the Seoul paid chump change for these players. I think they had to pay out quite a lot. They definitely had to make a splash for the best duo in the world. And again, like, they may have not had the best performances as of late as a team, but there's probably a lot of reasons for that. I don't have to rehash why London possibly didn't do so well in the playoffs this season. I think the internet speaks for itself there. And even before that, they won a title. This is a duo that has a ton of success. They're going to now bring that to a team that has very, very high expectations. Again, this is a fantastic, beautiful move. Again, the biggest move I think we'll see in a very, very long time. But on the flip side of that coin, it's great for Seoul, but what about London? This leaves you with kind of a still talented roster. You've got, players like Badoshin. What do you do there? Like, what exactly is going to happen with the rest of your Korean roster? Are you going to fill out you're going to fill in the blanks, try to, make it the best you can? Or, Monty seems to think that possibly there's a European squad on the horizon. I mean, that definitely makes sense, seeing how you have a academy team that's fully Western. Very, very talented players on that roster. You know, you've just missed the train on Bach 1. You know, Bakit's now retired, going back to brushing his teeth and doing doctoral duties. That would certainly create an actual pipeline of talent instead of just trying to sell off players. I mean, look at some of the players that have gone through British Hurricane. You possibly could have had Kib. Numlock could have definitely made a beautiful, UK or Western roster as a tank. You know, this is a possible avenue of exploration. But again, you've got some fantastic Korean players that are going to lend themselves to, having a fully Korean team. You've got a fully Korean support staff. Why abandon ship now? I think it would be very surprising, much like the Paris, signing of Coach 9K. I think it would be very surprising to see them just abandon the last 2 years of progression and development with, the Korean coaching staff and the Korean players, and just abandon all hope and go fully Western. I think that's pretty unlikely. I think what they're going to do is they're going to fill out the rest of the roster with Korean players and move on from there. I don't see them really making too many changes on that front. When we look at 2020, there's a ton of travel. There's a ton of money to be spent. Do you have time to be able to create a roster at this point in off season, like that's fully Western? Are there people still up for grabs? Are trials done yet? Difficult to say, but this is a very precarious for London, to say the least. You've lost a lot of the punchiness of that roster and Profit and Gesture, and Birdring looks like he's on his way out. So what's going to happen with London? That's again, I hate to just put a pin in everything, but that's a whole nother video that we have to get into. But wow, Seoul coming out strong. This is what, an illicit Fleta Profit. Like, what can't they play? And this isn't even, the end of their roster movement possibly. I mean, you're going to need, do they have, they have Hailey and Jexa, but this is crazy. Are they going to offload some of their other talent? Are they going to go fully 12 man? Like, this is an insane movement. And now that I'm kind of talking it through, and if they're going to spend this kind of money, where Zunba left, are they signing Meko? What's up with this? Like, this is an insane move. Like, this is very exciting. This lends some this shows that the Seoul Dynasty does at least have eyes, and that's not an obvious statement, and that's, again, more metaphorical than it is literal, right? Everybody has eyes, but they have a business acumen about them, right? Like, if these players go on free agency, or if they're at least being shopped around by London, again, I think Seoul probably paid a pretty penny to be able to sign these players, but for good reason. These are some of the best players in the world. Again, Gesture, fantastic main tank. Profit, best player in the world, probably bar none. The most flexible, the most, has the most carry potential. When we're going into the 2-2-2 meta, you're going to want a star DPS talent that Fleta really hasn't shown to be, and Illicit has some great moments, but again, kind of a diamond in the rough there. I'd almost like to see him be kind of moved down as a two-way player, and maybe possibly bring somebody that's a little bit more dedicated to hit scan up to complement Profit. Not to say that Profit can't play Widow and can't play hit scan. He can literally play almost anything, but I think that's maybe where he's not the greatest. His Tracer's fantastic, but I think you need a very specific skill set to be good at, very dedicated hit scan. So your McCrees, your Ashes, your Soldiers, whatever, if there's ever going to be a meta with Soldier in it again, but, Widowmaker as well. I'd love to see that, like a Fleta Profit. I don't know, like a player like DM, again, using it as an example. Like, that's a terrifying DPS line going into 2020, representing Seoul as the only Korean team. Like, this is crazy. And again, we're pretty early on, and 2020 starts in February, so This is a this is a doozy. This is crazy to say the least. Is there really much else to say? Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much it. Excited to see what else happens with Seoul. Huge move. Also very interested to see what ends up happening with the Spitfire. What avenue do they take? Do they fill out the Korean roster and continue and possibly maybe make a change in 2021, or do they just abandon ship? That's definitely been put out there. So leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Seoul fans, are you excited? Are you excited to see Profit and Gesture in the gold and black? I think this is one, again, can't stress this enough. Probably the biggest move ever in Overwatch. So yeah, let me know. I'm kind of a loss for words. This is pretty crazy. I'm very excited for power rankings to come around this season. Gonna shoot for first. Arc, coming for you. Coming for that #1 spot. So thanks for watching. Check out Tactical Crouch Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, love you guys so much, and see you in the next video.